Good morning, everybody. My name is Kristen Agel, and I'm broadcasting from sunny Southern California. Today, my video is a summary of an interview that I did with a colleague or former colleague and friend of mine. Her name is Julie. Julie and I worked together years ago. She was a manager in a department that we worked in, and I was a very new supervisor. So I felt that Julie was the easy choice for this interview process because she's probably one of the most effective leaders that I've ever had a chance to work with, and she was very important to the launch of my career and developing me as a leader. So one of the themes you're going to hear throughout this is the idea that good leadership basically starts with effective communication. It's certainly something that she and I talked about quite a bit over the course of the interview process. Some of Julie's background, or her current background, is that she's a regional manager for a large commercial insurance company. She's got about 100 employees underneath her in over 13 states. She travels extensively to keep up with her job and what she's got to do to keep her team moving. So I think almost every type of communication device that you could imagine. She's in offices, she's on planes, she's on laptops. Video conferencing, texting, cell phones, you name it, and she probably is dealing with it at this time. So I thought she was a very good candidate for communication and leadership style. So one of the first questions that we talked about was, what type of leadership style that she would describe herself as, and she considers her role as a leader to be first and foremost a facilitator. She feels that to facilitate the needs of her team is critical to success. She wants her team to feel that if they, that their needs are being met, that if she can help them achieve their goals, then ultimately the goals of the team will be successful as well. So, communicating a steady flow of information is very important, but she's, was very specific to say that, communication is effective as long as it feels that it's collaborative. She doesn't want to have this top-down, feeling that she's the only one doing the talking. She really tries to make that environment, more collaborative. One of the things that that kind of led to was the idea that how do you get that buy-in from your followers? How do you get people to follow your lead? One of the techniques that she said that she uses quite a bit is the idea that she wants to agree emphatically with the things that they're doing well and to disagree quietly. She wants to when she's seeing success with her team, she really shouts it from the rooftop, makes a point to make sure that everybody knows it. If she can possibly reach out to people personally, she tries to do that, and always makes a point of making sure that even the people that are above her know that if her team's doing a good job or an individual's doing a good job, that she really does shout that from the rooftops. The idea of disagreeing quietly is really just to allow people, the mistakes get made, and she feels that, you have to be able to correct and coach people through those situations, but that she doesn't want people shutting down on her and avoiding problems because they're scared to come talk to her. So she wants, her idea of communication was to really keep those open lines. One of the things that has always struck me about her leadership style was her ability to delegate, and I think that is sometimes a struggle for people. Her take on that was the idea that she really wants to see people stretch themselves, kind of push themselves past their comfort zone, but not so much so that they're making mistakes or they feel scared or dissatisfied with what they're doing. So I felt that I thought that was a good strategy. We talked a little bit too about some of what we're doing in our class and what our text has been about and that type of thing. So we talked a little bit about transformational leadership, which she correlated to change management, which is kind of a industry term, or you'll see that in organizational leadership. I don't have time to talk about it here today, but if you wanted to Google it, you can kind of do some research on it. But it was very similar to the idea that transformational leadership really focuses on individuals. That the company culture and how people perceive the company culture is such a big key to keeping employees engaged in what you're doing, and really if you are trying to make those kinds of changes, having that leadership style really does make a difference. You know, it's not just telling people, you really have to walk the walk. One of the things that I did ask her, you know, if she had advice for people, kind of this next generation of leaders, you know, including myself, you know, is always being prepared, making sure that you understand what you're going to say before you're going to say it. One of the techniques I thought was good about what she does is that, you know, she tries to keep her communication to, you know, 3 points. You know, she don't want to have so many points that it becomes overwhelming and people lose focus on what you're trying to communicate. But, you know, enough to where you're effectively communicating your goals. Being honest and straightforward, you know, really, you know, being transparent with people was really important to her. You know, she wants people to feel like she's, you know, has credibility and integrity. And, you know, not to be fearful, you know, put yourself out there. If it's something that scares you, you know, do it over and over and over again to where it doesn't scare you anymore. So I thought that was great advice. I always learn a lot from Julie. This was no exception. You know, communication was obviously a theme throughout the interview, which was not a surprise. I think leading is communicating, and communicating is leading. I think from an organizational standpoint, I think our book goes as far to even say that, you know, organization is communication. You know, it is one and the same. So this was definitely something that I heard throughout the interview with Julie. I really appreciate everybody watching. Julie, I hope I was very accurate in the summary of our interview. Wish I could have more time, but hopefully this all makes sense to everybody and that I've covered the main points. So thank you so much, and I wish you all well. And until next time.